with contacts, with newsletters, and promoting our new website. So if you want to go out, you can fill in either this form, basic information, and we can put you on the mailing list. Or for residents is a little bit more in depth, but it's a total volunteer form. So if you choose not to put some of the information down, that is fine. It's a little bit more in depth on the residents because we want to be able to go to different businesses that want to come in. Mr. Siegel knows there was one business that he emailed me today, and I emailed him back personally, and I think it's going to be a great addition to the city. But it's information like this that we can give to them because they look at the demographics, and when they look at the demographics, they look at the last census, and our last census is not correct. And it's just the way it works. Some people don't fill out their information on the census, and this kind of helps along in us getting those businesses and those organizations to come to Port Jervis. Again, it's totally voluntary. Tomorrow, RUPCO with NYSERDA is presenting a Save Energy, Save Dollars. If you are having difficulty with your heating bills, these are cheap and free ways that they're going to show you how to save money on your Orange and Rockland bill over the winter. It is tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Port Jervis Library. It does ask for you to register in advance. I did put this up on my Facebook. I'll try to get it up on the website tonight. But this workshop can definitely help you save some money. So again, it's RUPCO and NYSERDA along with Cornell University Cooperative Extension. It's tomorrow night, 2 hours, 6:30 to 8:30 at the Port Jervis Library. This is for all. Saturday, November 1st at 1 p.m., the Daughters of the American Revolution will be installing their new, I'm thinking plaque, but it's not a plaque. It's a monument. Thank you. Monument up at Orange Square Veterans Park, and they welcome anybody that would like to come and be there for the brief ceremony. Again, it's 1 p.m. on this Saturday, November 1st. I did ask all the councilmen to have their biannual ward meeting. This, although there's neighborhood watch meetings and they go to a lot of other ones, I asked for there to be a biannual ward meeting. We had them in April. We're going to have them in November. I asked them to invite whichever department heads that could come. I only asked them yesterday to get me a date and get back. The 4th Ward was right on top of it. Theirs is November 19th at 7 p.m. in this room. Again, that's November 19th at 7 p.m. in this room with your councilman. I will make every attempt to be here and any of the department heads that can make it.
That's a combined neighborhood watch board meeting.
Okay, and again, it's here instead of normally they have it at the firehouse for their neighborhood watch. It'll be here in City Council room, and I will have a report for the other wards as soon as they give it to me. Some good news on the DMV front. DMV is here to stay. January of this year, it will remain in City Hall. During the year, there will be plans. We have to get approval from the state of New York, but the county is in cooperation. County is the one that runs the Department of Motor Vehicle, even though it is a state department, and they are encouraged by the building. We met last Tuesday, and they were encouraged by the Wells building, the small building that's on the Orchard Street side, and that it has parking, and that it's within a stone's throw of where the road test is taken, and it's grant money that has come in from the state that allows us to do the improvement. So it doesn't cost the city anything. The city keeps a well-deserved county facility here. And while we took a tour, I even encouraged Miss Rabbit to look at the other places there too, because I told her that we could probably find homes for county offices at a much more reasonable price than anywhere in any place else in the county. So hopefully she'll take me up on that offer. The last thing I have is just a reminder that the 43rd Annual Rick Drew Holiday Parade, it's a little ways off, but it's December 14th at 1 p.m. But again, remember that we have the Christmas tree lighting on the 29th, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving at 6 p.m., and we have the Chris Crindle Mart the following day on November 30th. know what? There was one more thing. Like Mr. Siegel said, and I'm not going to go off on a long tangent on this. I do try to read as many posts as I can that are put on Facebook. Obviously, if I'm tagged, I read them all. But sometimes I spend up to wee hours in the morning. And I'm one also not to debate. When you see me do a response, it's just a response of a truly misunderstood issue. But please don't hesitate to call me or call my office or send me an email if you're concerned about something or not quite sure about something, because there's a lot of misinformation that people, it's kind of like that game telephone where you tell one person, it goes down the line, and by the time it hits the 20th person, it's totally not the story. I just want to reiterate that for instance, like somebody said, the lights on the bridge or the crosswalk signs that are lit up, that comes from grant money. That is not money that we're spending of Port Jervis taxpayer money. Yes, I understand in the big scheme of things, it ultimately comes from a taxpayer. But if an entity is willing to give us grant money for that, I'm going to use it to the best of our ability. So we're not just going out and arbitrarily spending money on things that you might think that we not need. Although if you look at the bridge, and now of course Madam Morris is going to be doing the same thing. I was just told on Saturday that Madam Morris is doing the same lighting system, so that bridge will be all lit up. Again, please call my office, email me if you have any questions or concerns. I'd rather try to clear it up that way. Thank you. City Clerk Treasurer's Report, Ms. Wasnager.
Yes, first off, I'd like to remind everybody that Tuesday, November 4th, is Election Day. Please come out and vote. And please say thank you to those people who work the polls. They are up at 5 a.m. out there to set up. They stay there the whole day till after the polls close. They don't leave till 9:30, 10 o'clock. They really deserve your thanks for their participation in this process when you go out and visit those polls. Another thing, I will tell you that it was pretty quiet during the audit firm change. I will tell you, while it may not seem glamorous to change audit firms, this is the first time the city has changed audit firms in probably 30 to 35 years. We couldn't quite pinpoint when the previous firm had started, so this will bring a fresh look on all of our finances, along with a reduced fee, which is one of the reasons we went out to an RFP, was to save money. The fee will be reduced by approximately $20,000 for auditing services, and they have already been warned that I'm going to be the watchdog, and they're not going to get to do additional consulting services or this or that and try to bill us for it additionally. We will be a watchdog on them, because one thing we want out of this change is cost savings. And to that end, it is going to be a very, very difficult budget year. If any of you out there in the public are listening and can reach any one of your councilmen and do have suggestions for ways to cut or control costs, please feel free to let them know. It is going to be a very tough budget year, and your council members are going to have some very hard decisions to make in this budget. So please, if you could provide anybody with legitimate savings that can be instituted, or if you have ideas of services that you're willing to give up to save money that are realistic, please communicate them to your councilman, because it is going to be a tough budget year in 2015.
Thank you, Mrs. Wasnager. All right, Julie. All right, old business. Mr. Siegel.
Very well said, by the way. A few weeks back, I don't remember the date, must have been 2 Saturdays ago, I had an opportunity to go to Madam Morris Airport Park and watch a presentation, a recognition, if you will, for Dyke Gassman. And they also unveiled another monument there for the Civil War. And I bring that up not only because the hot dogs were great, Rob, but
That I figured.
But that park, for those people that have been there, and for those that have not ever been there, should go there. That park, for the most part, was done by volunteers. Some of it, like the kids' park, Firefly Park, that was a grant given by a local businessman, but most of it was done by volunteers. And Port Jervis had a lot of things done by volunteers over the years too. And I throw that out there because if we want to save money and make the town prettier, the city can't do it on its own tax back. We're going to need the help of other people to provide the help like the mayor has with his Saturday service people, maybe business people to donate things. Over there, for example, at the Dyke Gasman thing, DVTV donated, I don't know, $300 or $400 bench with, in memory of Dick Gasman. So that saved them the money. So I guess what I'm saying is that if there are people out there sort of going along with Mrs. Wasenegger's idea and the mayor's thoughts, people out there that want to help, we'll accept your help. If there are people there who want to donate money, we'll take your money and your time, whatever. But it's not just for us sitting here trying to make rules to get things done. It's for all of us to get together and try to make Port Jervis a place we want it to be. That said, if you see any code violations or concerns in your neighborhood, be sure to call the buildings department. I ride the streets every day I'm here. I see things, I report them. They go around, they see things, and they write them down, and they write violations. But if you see something that we don't see, please give them a call, because it's up to us, once again, to try to make Port Jervis a better place. And if you see other problems in your neighborhood, call the PD promptly. They'll respond very quickly for the most part. So if you see something, say something. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Roney?
No, Mayor.
Mr. Ritchie?
Nothing, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Hendrick?
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Boboza?
I have a few things, thank you, Mayor. First, just to go back to tourism, we got a double plug for the Christmas market, but I also wanted to point out, as was brought to my attention earlier, the market was so successful last year that they already have double the vendors of last year confirmed for this year's fair. So last year there was one tent. We are very excited that there are now going to be 2 tents, as well as utilizing the trackside if necessary. So I just wanted to update everybody on that. Number 2, on kind of a personal note, I don't know if the council had mentioned this at the last meeting, which I was absent from, and I'll get to that a little later, or the meeting before, but I just wanted to give my heartfelt condolences to the Cohen family on the passing of Jerry Cohen. I knew him simply as Uncle Jerry, and I don't know if not a lot of people know this, but if it weren't for the Cohen family, the Bavoso family would have never moved to Port Jervis. And obviously that was an important thing, certainly for my parents, but also because myself and all of my siblings grew up here. I've come back, I live here, I work here, and I love this place. So I just wanted to send that out to the Cohen family. And not to reopen a can of worms, but I did need to comment on this. I was not at the last council meeting, and for that I apologize to the rest of the council. It was obviously a big meeting. The reason for that being was I had a work commitment out of town, and I didn't get to leave that work commitment until about 10 p.m. that evening. And on top of that, I was very ill at the same time, so I just didn't have the energy to get back to City Hall. But if I were here, I feel it's my obligation as a representative of the city to say I absolutely would have voted in favor of the sewer use fee and the potential fee. Again, no official fee amount has been set. I am a property owner in this city. I own a house in the 1st ward. I run and operate and pay taxes for a business in the 2nd ward. So if anybody believes that it was an easy decision or one that I would have wanted to make, they're kidding themselves. And I think, to be honest, they're selling me a bit short by believing that. It was an incredibly difficult decision, and I, like all the other members of this council, took into account every possible alternative, every possible way of funding what we need to fund going forward another way. But to be honest, it was kind of a choosing the lesser of multiple evils in this particular situation. Again, absolutely not something that we wanted to do, but the reality is we live in a city with a very old infrastructure, and financially, it's daunting to try to deal with that. And so I know that every member of this council has been working diligently in order to try to come up with resolutions for that aging infrastructure and ways to correct it and to help the city move forward. And to echo a bit of what Mr. Siegel had said earlier, I can't speak obviously for the ward candidates because I'm not specific to a particular ward, but while this matter was in public hearing and even prior to it, I heard from 2 constituents about it. And those 2 constituents work for me. No one had picked up the phone at any point to voice their concern to me. And like Mr. Siegel says, I think that's disappointing in a way because it's easy to take a look at us up here and say, well, you're just doing what's in your own best interest, you're not looking out for the city, and I think that's incredibly short-sighted because we're all residents of the city. Many of us work in the city or have worked in the city, and to think, this doesn't hit us. This fee, if when we come up with a number, is going to hit me twice as hard than most people in the city. So it certainly wasn't an easy decision, and I feel, as someone who was elected by the people of the city, it was important for me to let everyone know that that's how my vote would have gone had I been here at the last meeting. And that's all I have for old business. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cunningham?
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Woligoski?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to clear some things up. Over the weekend, I was at a couple places downtown. First off, I want to commend the DPW and the water department. I think we got a grasp on the dirty water. But unfortunately, this past, I think it was Friday or one day last week. Thursday, one of our fire hydrants here, one of the main fire hydrants here in the lower first ward was demoed by a vehicle so bad that it literally ripped the hydrant, from what I understand, completely out of the ground. That stirred up a lot of water. Yes, there was some brown water in parts of the first ward, second ward. Unfortunately, there was nothing we could do. That was stupidity on the person that took the hydrant out. Those of you who don't know, you stir the water up, it wasn't done on purpose. I think we had the dirty water under control until this. So that was the reason, if anybody had dirty water this weekend, it wasn't anything the city did. So that's that. And that's all I have for old business.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bell?
David mentioned Jerry Cohen. Jerry Cohen was one of the people that helped write all the bylaws for Little League when Little League first started here back in 1953. Was a good man.
He also got Syracuse University to come to the high school.
Yes, he did. My son mentions that to me about once a year when we go to the Alumni Hall of Fame banquet. Mrs. Wasnegger told you that it was almost $20,000 saved on the audit fee. She was speaking per year, and it's a 3-year contract. So there will be 3 times that amount of savings on the new contract. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. New business, Mr. Bell?
No, sir.
Mr. Woligoski?
Yeah, it's just one thing. We're talking about fees and money and costs and things. Back when I ran for re-election, one of the big things people wanted to see was Point Peter open, some things open up for bicyclists up on the hill, whatever, outdoor stuff. Well, this weekend, I found out really, truly what it's meant to have something free in your backyard. For those of you that haven't been up there, Point Peter is phenomenal, especially this time of the year. A lot of you know I do photography on the side. I take a lot of pictures. I had the opportunity, I had families up there, I took biting pictures up there for somebody, and it's phenomenal. The path going down, and it's free. Like I said, you park your car, you walk around. It's amazing, the view up there, all down through the paths. There's different paths throughout the area up there. Anybody wants to go up. There's picnic tables up there. I went up on Saturday and had a picnic lunch. And it's just, and it was nice to see. I'll bet you there was probably 30 or 40 people in and out in a couple hours we were up there, between the hiking path, the other patent, and then just people looking. And there was a car from Jersey that people had no idea. They just turned off. They were coming up 42. They made a right-hand turn, wanted to see what was up there, and they said there was no trespassing sign. They said, no, go straight down ahead. You'll be amazed. And then when we met up with them later, they were like, wow. So they're out of town. They're going to come up every weekend just to look out, as far as the scenic overlook and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's free. It's in your backyard. Take advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cunningham.
Yes, I'd like to remind everyone to get out and vote this week on Tuesday, Election Day, Tuesday, November 4th. We don't have a presidential election this year, but there are many offices that are open. The governor of the state of New York is open, other important offices in the state. Please get out there and vote, voice your opinion, let us know how you feel. Thank you.
I have a few things, thank you, Mayor. First, because I can't get tourism off my mind, I'd like to make a motion to allow the tourism board to hang the banners for the Christmas market
In the same place as they.
in
on
the same
fall
places
foliage.
as fall foliage.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bobozo, second by Mr. Cunningham to hang the banners in the same place they did the Fall Foliage Festival. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I'm going to refer to an email to make sure I get this right, but I'd like to say congratulations to Upfront Exhibition Space in Port Jervis. On November 14th is the 7th Annual Orange County Arts Council Awards Gala. They will be giving away a number of awards. And as for the Best Arts Organization, that goes to our very own Upfront Exhibition Space. So I'd like to say congratulations to a business within our very own city. And then finally, under new business, I wanted to direct this primarily to Mr. Siegel and the members of the Code Committee. But I did have a couple discussions today with some members of the CEA and also the mayor. I believe that an item that we can put on the agenda for the next meeting would be both taking a look at the current zoning map as well as those uses permitted in the Schedule of District regulations. The reason being is that we anticipate and hope for some development in the downtown area, particularly with one big project involving the river. And we need to make sure that the city is currently zoned to allow for amenities that would help facilitate that and help make it more successful. And
Can you send me an email with the specific?
sure. Well, at this point, there is no specific request, but that's what we're going to have to talk about. And I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the Code Committee and the public and this council, because since I've been here since the beginning of the year, we've already passed 2 local laws changing zoning in the city. So I think that it's time that we looked at the map comprehensively to make sure it fits what we'd like to do going forward. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hendrick?
2 things, Mayor. The first, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding surplus equipment and vehicles, 2014. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council and the Port Jervis Community Development Association recognizes that there exists the following surplus equipment and vehicles which no longer are necessary for municipal purpose as follows. A 1999 Buick Century, VIN number 2G4WS52 M6X 1526060. And whereas the city recognizes the need to dispose of these vehicles and equipment effectively, it hereby grants the city clerk treasurer permission to solicit bids and sell the equipment to the highest bidder as applicable or dispose of unsellable materials as scrap. Make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendrick to dispose of CDA vehicles, second by Mr. Wologroski. Discussion?
Time for it to go, Frank.
Yeah, it is.
All in favor? Opposed? So carried.
Frank bought it.
That's what I say about my
We've had it a long
1999
time.
vehicle too.
Frank's gonna buy that car?
And the second thing is,
No, I got it for him when they originally got it.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to buy it?
You should take it back, it's costing us more than it's worth.
I'd like to make a motion for executive session to include city clerk treasurer, contractual, audit services, recreation personnel,
He's not here,
I have-
Mr.
I have-
Wologroski.
and DPW contractual, and by Mr. Farr. Make that a motion.
A motion for executive session by Mr. Hendricks, second. Second by Mr. Ritchie. Discussion, all in favor? Opposed? So carried.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ritchie?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let the second ward residents know, I don't have a date yet, but as soon as the calendar comes out at the end of the week, I will look at that, and based on the schedule, and I will come up with a date, and I will send it out via email, Facebook. In the meantime, any resident that would like a specific department head to come to that meeting, please let me know, phone call, email, Facebook, and I will do my best to get them there if you have any specific concerns with any of the departments. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Owen?
No, Mayor.
Mr. Siegel?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to invite all of the department heads that are willing to come to the Fourth Ward Neighborhood Watch Board meeting. I don't know what departments might be asked questions of, but if they are in fact there, it would be helpful. And it might be enjoyable to hear what goes on in the city outside your department as well. Also, again, that's November 19th at 7 p.m. right here in the council chambers. Also, as I said earlier, government goes much slower than I am happy with. So I would like to recommend that once the engineer makes a report on 24 to 32 Front Street, that we do call an emergency meeting and deal with it right away rather than wait 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. God forbid the bricks fall and they go in the wrong direction and somebody gets hurt. If you need a motion, I'd be glad to do that.
Mr. Siegel, can we change that to allow the mayor to go ahead with what the engineer recommends?
Sure, I didn't make a motion to make whatever, yeah, that'd be fine. I just
I
think
don't think you can delegate that.
We
Because
can't?
dependent on the price,
Okay,
you know.
that's right.
But I'll, if you want, if your consensus is to have a special meeting, I'll hold it as soon as I get the report back.
Because also I'd like to be anxious to see what historical's in there.
Oh, and, yeah, right.
So would all of
Unfortunately, Mr. Cooperman had left, so that's why I didn't even bother to answer any, or address that issue, so.
Well, we'll remind them of when the. when
I'll call him, I
the
have him
meeting
down
is.
to call.
Also, as has been stated earlier, November 4th is Election Day. I also encourage people to go out and vote. But at the same time, I think everyone needs to take some time and do some research on the education loan. That money that you're going to be voting on is a loan, it's not a grant. The interest on that loan is phenomenal. So if you look at today's record, and if you look at yesterday's Post or News, you will see people in the education field giving their opinion as to whether or not you should vote for that. And others talk about, if we do get the loan, maybe we shouldn't put it into technology that gets old within a year or two. Maybe we should put it other places. So try to make an informed decision about that particular proposition. And, God, am I done? Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you. Public comment, anybody like to speak on any subject, 3-minute limit, just state your name and the ward that you live in, or the city, town you live in. Not hearing any, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Woligrowski, second by Mr. Bell, discussion, all in favor? Opposed? So carried, thank you. Folks, we intend to probably come out for a vote or two from executive session.